Every day we buy over 1 billion chocolate bars. We eat it when we're happy, when we're sad, when we just need a moment to feel better. But here's the truth no one wants to hear. The world's favorite comfort food is built on suffering, exploitation, and lies. Behind your favorite chocolate bar is a hidden network of child labor, poverty, and billion-dollar deception. For over 20 years, companies like Hershey's, Nestle, and Mars have promised change. Yet the same crimes continue, quietly, behind their shiny wrappers. Right now, over 1.5 million children are working in West African cocoa fields. Most of them will never taste the chocolate they make. This is the story they'll never put on a wrapper. The sweet lie we all choose to believe. Chapter 1. The comfort we crave. We all know that moment. You're stressed, tired, maybe heartbroken, and you reach for chocolate. It's more than candy. It's therapy in a wrapper. A bite that tells your brain you're okay now. Chocolate is the world's cheapest form of happiness. We use it to celebrate birthdays, to apologize, to heal heartbreaks. It's comfort disguised as dessert, but that comfort is built on the backs of people who never get to taste it. Every year, the world spends over $130 billion on chocolate. And behind every sweet moment, there's someone working long hours under a burning sun for less than $2 a day. Children climb trees with machetes to harvest cocoa pods. Farmers are trapped in cycles of poverty so deep that quitting isn't an option. When you unwrap a bar, you see joy. When they cut a pod, they see survival. Chocolate feels innocent, but that innocence is the first lie. Because every time we choose sweetness, without asking where it comes from, we choose ignorance over justice. And the more we consume without questioning, the stronger the lie becomes. Chapter 2. Gods, Gold, and Cacao. Chocolate wasn't invented, it was discovered and worshipped. Long before candy bars, the Maya and Aztecs treated cacao as sacred. They called it food of the gods. Warriors drank it before battle. Priests offered it to deities. It was bitter, pure, and powerful. A ritual, not a snack. When Spanish explorers arrived in the 1500s, they saw opportunity, not holiness. They added sugar, removed the ritual, and turned it into a drink for Europe's elite. Chocolate went from sacred to profitable. By the 1800s, factories turned it into a product for the masses. Temples became industrial plants, priests became businessmen, and cacao, once a divine symbol, became the seed of a global empire built on colonialism, slavery, and greed. The journey from temple to factory tells you everything about human nature. We take what's pure and we find a way to sell it. Chocolate was never meant to be a product, but once money entered the story, its soul was sold. Chapter 3. Empires built on sweetness. Every empire hides its sins under beauty. The chocolate empire is no different. By the early 1900s, Hershey, Cadbury, and Nestle had perfected the illusion. They sold more than chocolate. They sold emotion. Joy, love, nostalgia, pure, innocent, wholesome. Words that looked good in ads, even as exploitation grew beneath them. To meet global demand, cocoa farming expanded across West Africa. Land was taken, forests were cleared, and workers, often children, were brought in to keep costs low. Factories in Europe and America thrived. Meanwhile, farmers couldn't afford to feed their families. A chocolate bar cost $2. The person who grew the cocoa earns less than 7 cents from it. That's not a broken system. That's a designed one. Chocolate became the perfect mask, sweet enough to hide a bitter truth. Consumers saw luxury, romance, and celebration. But in the fields of Ghana and Ivory Coast, it meant exhaustion, danger, and silence. Chapter 4. The hidden hands behind your bar. The truth hides in plain sight, at the bottom of your wrapper. Over 1.5 million children work in cocoa farms today. Some are as young as 10. They carry heavy sacks, swing machetes, and work without safety gear. Most have never been inside a school. Many have never tasted chocolate. For over 2 decades, major brands have signed no child labor pledges. They make public promises, hold press conferences, and launch ethical campaigns. But the reality on the ground barely changes. Why? Because the system is profitable the way it is. Change costs money. Silence doesn't. For every glossy ad showing sustainable cocoa, there are thousands of children doing dangerous labor. Consumers see smiling farmers in commercials, but those faces are often props, not partners. The chocolate industry depends on invisibility. If you saw the truth, you might stop buying. So they make sure you don't. Chapter 5. The Price of Ignorance. We don't pay for chocolate, someone else does. Every time we buy the cheapest bar on the shelf, someone else absorbs the real cost. The child who can't go to school, the farmer trapped in debt, the family that can't afford food while growing our treats. The truth is, we've been trained not to care. Advertising teaches comfort, not conscience. Chocolate is marketed as self-care, love, luxury. But the real story is sweat, danger, and poverty. The industry has spent billions to make sure you never connect the dots. And most people don't, because guilt doesn't sell. We love the taste, the nostalgia, the memories. We don't want to think about where it comes from, so who suffers to make it. But pretending not to know doesn't make it untrue. It just makes it easier to repeat. Every bite is a choice. And every time we choose silence, we feed the lie. Chapter 6. The Corporate Sweet Talk. Every lie needs a good marketing campaign. That's why chocolate brands mastered the art of words like sustainable, responsible, and ethical. They sound powerful, they sell hope, but they mean almost nothing. Most certification labels are self-funded and rarely verified. Audits are inconsistent, reports are vague, and the progress they claim is almost impossible to prove. Behind every ethical label, there's still poverty, still exploitation, still profit at the top and pain at the bottom. Corporate sustainability isn't about changing the system. It's about maintaining the illusion that it's being fixed. Because if consumers feel good about buying chocolate, no one asks the hard questions. And the cycle continues. The sweetest lies are the ones that make you feel like you're doing good. Chapter 7. Cracks in the system. But even the sweetest lies start to melt. Cracks are beginning to show. New cooperatives and fair trade movements are giving farmers more control. Some startups now pay farmers directly, skipping exploitative middlemen. Technology like blockchain tracks beans from tree to shelf, exposing the weak links. It's not perfect, but it's progress. Consumers are starting to ask questions. Documentaries, journalists, and even TikTok creators are revealing what's been hidden for decades. Change is slow, but real. The empire built on secrecy is starting to crumble under truth.
A million kids in child labor in West Africa on cocoa farms.
Chapter 8. A Sweeter Future. The truth doesn't ruin chocolate. It redeems it. Chocolate can still be joy, but only if it's justice too. It can connect people, support farmers, and reward fair work. Every conscious choice moves the industry one step closer to accountability. Buy fair trade, support transparent brands, ask questions, share what you learn. Because the sweetest lie we all choose to believe is that nothing can change, but it can. And when it does, chocolate might finally taste as good as it feels.